Inamdar. आपको सबको पता ही है how to reach Amit Inamdar. All you have to do is Google his name, Amit Inamdar, and everything will pop up. Also, his website is ownsweethome.net. बड़ा ही आसान चीज है कि you want to own a sweet home, right? Everyone aspires to do that, and especially in this new year कि भैया इस शुरुआत में हम लोग सोच रहे हैं कि जनवरी आ गया है, बस हम जल्दी से एक अच्छा सा घर अपनी और अपनी फैमिली के लिए लेना है. So ownsweethome.net is the right place to go. Amit can be reached at 510-364-6686. इस शो में जैसे कि आपको पता ही है हम लोग डिस्कस करते हैं रियल एस्टेट के बारे में. हम आपको काफी हद तक इंफॉर्मेशन देने की सोचते हैं कि there are lots of decisions that you have to make, so you have to think about a lot of things, and we make your life very, very simple. If you have a question regarding real estate, all you have to do is just call our studio line, which is 510-770-1550, and you can ask a question. But just in case आप हमें reach नहीं कर पा रहे हैं for some reason, all you have to do is go on to ownsweethome.net. वहाँ पर एक tab होगा रेडियो का, and you can even post your question there, and we will certainly include it on our show. So let's start off the show by welcoming Amit on the show. Welcome to the show, sir, and very happy New Year to you.
Hey, thank you, Arlene, and hello, friends. Own Sweet Home, and welcome to my show, Power Hour with Amit Inamdar. Many of you have made New Year's resolutions, and many of you probably want to buy a bigger, better home. And if you're already renting, you want to buy your first home, or if you're already owning a home and there is family changes in the house, and that may be having a new baby and you need a bigger home. Maybe the kids changing from schools and you want a new home. Or you got a promotion and now you are in this elite circles and you want to move to elite areas. So there are various ways that resolutions can be made, and if you have those resolutions, I mean, this is the right place to be and the right advice you are going to get. So the ownership of the home has its privileges, right? And those privileges start from the home that you can call that it's your own. And you can make improvements to the home that you like. You can do gardening, upgrade the kitchen with the now popular granite countertops, or maybe with the cherry wood cabinets, or maybe use a designer paint, the paint that matches your personality, the furniture that makes you comfortable, and the yard, the flowers, the summer barbecues, the friends, families, and parties. Wow, there's so many things you can do with those privileges, and that's what the home ownership is all about. You know, one of the things that's most important to me is the place for my kids to grow, the place they will remember, the fun they will cherish. Your kids are going to be with you only until they finish high school. Then they are going to go to college, they move out, and providing for the kids is one of the most satisfying factor for me.
Absolutely. और मुझे लगता है कि काफी सारी फैमिलीज जो बे एरिया में हैं, they want to start a family, या उनके फैमिली के जो बच्चे हैं ये transitioning from the 2 to 3 years वाली एज से लेके थोड़े और बड़े हो रहे हैं. They need a bigger house, or they're planning for a second kid. So most families, kids are a priority, and the whole world revolves around the kids, right?
Yeah, absolutely, Arlene. And each home ownership changes with the kids' age. You know, even before the kids are born, if someone wants to own a home, they may just have a 2-bedroom condominium just for themselves. And looks like we're having a call, so why don't we take that first?
Absolutely. Hello, you're on air.
Yeah, I have a question to Amit. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
So, Amit, my name is Vikas. My question is like this. I will have a home, and the loan outstanding is 600K. It's $1 million home.
Mm-hmm.
And I have extra cash in my bank, about 300K. Should I repayment the loan, and my son is going to be in college in next 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So should I take a line of credit, empty-home and the loan right now, or should I keep this money for children's education?
Right, that's a great question, Vikas, and some of the things also depend on what kind of returns you want on your investment, and it may be possible just to buying a simple condominium for 200K will start giving you around $1,500 to $2,000 a month of rent, and that may be something that will help the kids annually, maybe up to like $18,000 to $24,000 just by from the rents for that home. Okay, so that would be a completely different scenario. And if you want to call me after the show, we can discuss specific things that may go in. You may pay off your loan, but again, I mean, the kid's going to college, you may need some cash, and home equity also is an option to take, and you can get up to 80% of your home value into home equity. So there is another 200K to be taken out from the existing place. And also your age matters because you're going to retire at age 65, and you got to make sure that one of the major expense that you have, which is your home expense, is basically going away by the time you retire. So it requires a careful calculation. So call me and we'll discuss all the details that are specific to you.
Thank you so much for calling. And मैं एक बार जल्दी से बता दूं कि all you have to do is Google Amit Inamdar and you'll find all the details there, or you can go onto his website, which is ownsweethome.net. You'll find again all the details, and if you have a pen and a paper handy, then the number to reach Amit is 510-364-6686.
Okay, so we've been talking about the world revolving around the kids.
Absolutely.
You know? And we said maybe in the beginning somebody wants to own a home, they may just buy a 2-bedroom condo and just save on the rent, you know. And once the kid is born, you may start thinking about bigger and spacious space for the kid. You know, the kids can go on play dates, but year around it's not possible.
Right.
You know, the weather kind of changes and you have to have play dates, means you have to go to the nearby park, you have to have somebody with you, somebody else may not be available, and you can't be outside the home. You got a lot of responsibilities at the home also. So you may just want a bigger home where the kid has his own room or their playroom. And this is a small kid. I'm not talking about like somebody who is going to school. They're just spending most of their time or all of their time at home with you, and they need that space. And that's when you will buy your first home and start enjoying the benefits of the home ownership from that standpoint. And then what happens, the kid grows and you have to send them to elementary school, and you might have bought a home in an area where the elementary is not that exciting for you, for your needs. And what you may do at that point is actually sell that home, move to a home in a good elementary. And some people may say, why don't I just buy a home in all the 3 schools being good? And we had a whole show on that, why you shouldn't do that, because the price differential is so high that there is no point spending extra $300 to $400 a month just to have that home that is good for all 12 years. And so another 5 to 7 years of elementary, you may change the school to middle school and high school area homes, and you will have another home, and then the kids move out, you are like empty nesters, right? So I don't know, the Vikas just called and I don't know what his situation is. If he's going to be an empty nester, maybe it's time for him to buy a home that is smaller and maybe get the equity out of this home and have these monthly payments totally taken out completely, you know, and it's like your way to retirement from that standpoint.
Absolutely.
So there are different times you're going to change the home during your career. And another thing is also you're going to get promoted. It's not like you're going to be in the same job. Everybody has these aspirations. You may become a director, you may become a VP, and you may change the home just based on that.
Got it. So typically कितना period रहता है? You know, do people stay for like 2-3 years, or it's 5-7 years in a typical house?
Yeah, I mean, typically if I have actually a graph of when the sellers were surveyed about how long did they own the home before they sold it, and the typical answer was around 6.2 years. So that was the average. So basically around 5 to 7 years is a good time, and we talked about how the school transitions kind of match with those 5 to 7 years, and that's what ends up happening. You also get a tremendous advantage, you know, of leverage when you own a home. And leverage basically is ability to grow your money by leveraging, and it's like a lever, right? I mean, if you have a lever on the, you can actually lift up very heavy block with a lever that from a short end, and that happens. That's what is basically the leverage. And if you want to kind of explain that in real estate, let's say you have $50,000 with you, and you have a choice of investing that $50,000. Where do you plan to invest? Do you plan to invest in a CD or a saving checking account where you may get around 1% interest rate or return? You may invest that in, say, a mutual fund, and you may get 6% return. Or you may actually invest that in real estate, thinking you want to get some more return from real estate from that standpoint. Now, say a few years down the line, I'm not saying next year, maybe a few years down the line, the home goes to 600,000. So you are originally 50,000 in there. Now suddenly you have $150,000 in your home. So you actually made a 300% return on your 50,000 investment versus putting it in a CD or a savings account at 1%. So that's what leverage is. You had 10% money down, but your home appreciation did not depend on the money down you made. It actually depended on the price of the home. So let's say another person who didn't want the leverage bought the home for $500,000 cash. And it went to 600,000 also, because these are identical homes next to each other, and he only made 20% return on his home or on his investment of $500,000. So a person making 50,000 made 300% return, and person making all cash purchase made only 20% return, and that's what leverage is all about in real estate.
Absolutely. Then मुझे लगता है कि this is a legal way of getting back your money, which is really fantastic because most of us look for a lottery ticket.
Right.
However, what happens to the payments made towards property tax and interest? Those also come along.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you look at the generally accepted accounting principles, they talk about asset appreciation different than a cash flow. And when you ask me a question about this property tax and interest you are paying on a monthly basis, that's a cash flow question. So that doesn't relate to asset appreciation we just talked about. However, that does relate to the quality of life that you get when you own a home. Right, with the things that we talked about at the beginning of the show, the quality of home life, the quality of kids enjoying their stay at home, and the benefits you enjoy by just being the homeowner. And if you look at it from the standpoint of the rental market, you're going to pay the rent anyway.
Right.
So that money is not just all going away. You may get compensated by the rent you would have paid somewhere else, and after tax benefits that are going to create a new level of savings for you too. So in the long run, the home ownership always beats the renting of the home.
Absolutely. तो जितने भी हमारे लिसनर्स हैं, मैं आपको बता दूं कि हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं रियल एस्टेट पे, काफी सारी ज्ञान और इन्फॉर्मेशन की बातें हम लोग शेयर कर रहे हैं. हमारे साथ हैं अमित इनामदार. To reach him, all you have to do is Google his name, Amit Inamdar, and you will actually find all information. If not, then just go on to his website, which is ownsweethome.net. We are going to be right back after a couple of messages, so stay tuned.
Have you joined the Happily Ever After Club?
Happily Ever After Club?
Happily Ever After Club. Membership is automatic once you buy your dream home from Amit Inamdar. He is both real estate and mortgage broker. One stop, no need to shop.
Oh, Amit Inamdar from Own Sweet Home.
Yes, that's Amit from OWN Own Sweet Home. Call him today, 510-364-6686. Again, 510-364-6686. Or visit ownsweethome.net. That is ownsweethome.net.
Welcome back, friends. This is Amit Inamdar. And if you are in the market to sell, buy or finance a home, you will get unbiased advice that will save you money. That is my promise to you. To get hold of me, just Google my name, Amit Inamdar, Real Estate Broker, and you will know ways to get hold of me and find me. Having all your questions answered at one location and by one person means saving time, money, and having peace of mind that you are cared for by someone who knows this business inside out. Today we are talking about benefits of home ownership.
Absolutely. और अमित मेरे को ये बहुत अच्छा लगता है कि you've been in this business for more than a decade, almost 12-13 years now. So you've seen all kinds of people, all kinds of concerns, and that helps you. That experience really helps you in answering, like you said, any question that people come up with. So we were kind of, talking about the tax advantage of home ownership. Can you explain a little more about that?
Absolutely. First of all, let me tell you, I'm not a tax consultant, okay? So each situation that each person is going to have out there is going to be different, and the decisions you make will have different tax consequences. So you will typically actually go to a tax consultant to get that kind of advice. However, I'm going to talk in general, okay, not anything specific to a certain person, but if they need that advice, they need to go to a tax professional from that standpoint.
Sure.
So let's say when you own a home, okay, what are the tax advantages? First thing is the annual mortgage interest you pay on your loan and the property taxes you pay on annual basis, both of them are tax deductible. Okay. Now, what it means is if you have a taxable income of $100,000 and if you have a $30,000 worth of mortgage interest and the property taxes paid, now you only pay the tax on $70,000. Okay. Now, another thing one needs to understand is what is my marginal tax rate. A lot of times people say, oh, I make $100,000. Last year I paid $20,000 in tax and my tax rate is 20%. Now that tax rate is actually a 20% average tax rate. A marginal tax rate is the tax that you pay on the last dollar you earn, because this IRS tax code has like different slabs for the taxes. You pay certain number of tax up to $25,000 of income, then your tax rate goes up, then the tax rate goes up. So when you have $100,000 of taxable income, and say you are in a 30% tax bracket, for example, and you drop down that by because of that $30,000 deduction to $70,000, your tax bracket may change from 30% down to 25%. Okay, so your average tax rate may change from 20% down to maybe 17%. Okay, just as an example, and look at it. If you had that $30,000 deduction on a 30% or 33% tax bracket, that's like $10,000 worth of tax savings. Okay, so if you're paying $20,000 in tax in a year, now 20,000 minus 10,000, so you actually pay 10,000 in taxes. Now, if you look at it from the standpoint of what happened here, what really happened was the money that was paid to the government was used for your enjoyment in the home. So the government is somehow helping you to own a home and kind of paying for it also in partial some certain ways. And the tax benefits just don't end at, let's say, mortgage interest and the property taxes level. I mean, people can actually save taxes by doing this itemized deduction, because when you have these expenses, you always do itemized deductions, and itemized deductions will ask you to make deductions such as allowable medical expenses, or maybe employment or search expenses that you may have, or it may have like the big thing is the state taxes also you can deduct. Like today you may not be able to deduct state taxes if you're filing like 1040 easy or something like that. And again, I'm not a tax consultant, I just have this knowledge about it and I'm just talking about it. But the thing is, you get to deduct all those things. You're not paying taxes on taxes. Like you pay state taxes, you don't get a deduction for it, and you're still paying taxes to the federal government and things. And here you get to deduct all that. So your tax benefits actually add up. And if you actually look at the form W4, right? I mean, it's a form that's available on the web and that you file every time you get a new job. And that form basically says, hey, if you have one job, enter one. If you are married or single, enter one, and you kind of calculate your exemptions. When you own a home, you actually calculated exemptions on the back side of the page, which is talks about interest deductions, the property tax deductions, and your exemptions typically may change from 1 or 2 to 12 to 15 range. And when that happens, I mean, that's how you get that money back every month, every paycheck. So you don't have to wait for the whole year and file for your returns and get that money back. And that question comes up again and again with my clients. They say, hey Amit, do I have to wait because for a whole year to get that? Looks like we are having a caller.
Let's take the next call. Hello, you're on air.
Hi, I hope I called in the show about the real estate, right?
Yes, absolutely. Own Sweet Home. This is Amit Inamdar. Who am I talking to?
Anil, Amit, I was listening to your show earlier. You were telling somebody that they could buy a condo for 150, 200K with a rent for 1,500 to 2,000. Can you tell a little bit more about that? What area were you referring to?
Okay. So the again, you can buy those. You may not get that high rents, okay? But the thing is, he had an equity also of $200,000 that he was planning to borrow. Okay, he was also going to have 200,000 also his own cash. So there are ways to kind of get that done. Okay, in that price range that what he's talking about, and he's going.
So then are you saying it was 200K of his equity plus 200K loan? Or
Not
so we're talking
necessarily.
like
I
a
mean,
400K?
if you look at the rents right now in the marketplace, they are pretty high. Okay, I mean, a two-bedroom place or an apartment right now in Sunnyvale area is going up for like $2,200 to $2,500 per month. Okay, so if not Sunnyvale, you may come to Milpitas. You may come to like even Fremont and Hayward areas, and you will find the rents basically don't go down in proportion to the price. Okay.
And if you talk about Fremont, how much would be a two-bedroom condo? Any idea?
They range. I mean, two-bedroom, depending on the location, you will find them anywhere from 250,000 all the way to 580,000, let's say. Okay. Yeah. So it just depends. So the thing is, what you want to do is if you are an investor, you just want to look at where you are going to get the return that you desire on your investment. Okay, and what I have come to a conclusion in the Bay Area is unless the unit is around $150,000 or below per unit price, you don't get those returns in the Bay Area with minimum of 20 to 25% down. You have to put a lot more down to get those returns, and that's where some of my clients bought actually fourplexes. Okay, so for a 600K or a 700K in Hayward Union City areas, and they are getting around 12 to 14% return on their investment on the 25% cash down they put. So its situation is pretty unique for everyone. And when I say you will get a return, does not necessarily mean he buys a one unit condominium to get that return, but he may be actually buying a multiplex and putting that money down, and he gets on that $200,000 a higher return.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great, thank you so much for calling. And जितने भी हमारे listeners हैं मैं जल्दी से बता दूं, you can reach Amit Inamdar, just Google his name or go on to his website which is ownsweethome.net. And हम लोग काफी सारी बातें कर रहे हैं about how to legally save money when it comes to real estate transaction. I keep stressing it क्योंकि मेरा New Year resolution ये है कि I have to win a lottery ticket this year. So hopefully I'll get something.
Yeah. So one of the things that happened over the course of the years is, the small kids will come to me and say, Amit uncle, we need to buy a big home because we have a new baby in the house, and it's like, even the kids are realizing like, hey, I mean, they need a bigger home, he needs a separate room, he doesn't want the baby in the same room that he has. One time, it's another funny story, my friends and clients, I mean, it's like very blurry line nowadays with all the things that go on, especially when you're so close with all your clients and you're actually understanding their finances, emotions, and it's no longer you are their realtor, you end up becoming their close friend with all that information. So one time what happened was one of the kids, they moved into their home, and the kid asked his mom, Mom, when are we going to go back to the other home that we had, or how long we are going to stay with Amit Kaka's home, It's like the kid didn't understand that they actually own the home, because I was showing them homes so many times. I mean, he just thought, oh, that's Amit Kaka's home or Amit uncle's home and all that. It was pretty sweet. And actually I got a Diwali greeting from the kid indicating that, and then the mom said, oh, that's about 6 months now, and when he started understanding that that's his home now. So, so that was pretty neat.
चलो ये बहुत अच्छा है. So there are various kinds of ways that, like you were suggesting, that we can save, and I think what you're trying to say is that information is the key, and understanding that there are ways in which you can even save in a real estate transaction. What are the other ways of savings? We discussed one, which was certain marginal tax deductions and all.
Right.
But what are the other ways of savings?
Right, especially say if you are an investor, for example, and you want to own a home, actually buy a place for investment, then people always think, hey, I'm an investor, does that mean I can deduct my interest in property taxes? And my answer to that is, you not only get to deduct your interest in property taxes, you also get to deduct your HOA dues, you also get to deduct your insurance payments, you also get to deduct your repairs, because when you buy something for investment, the way you end up calculating your profits is just by calculating income minus expenses equal to profit, on which you are going to pay taxes. Right. So as an investor, you have a lot more leverage, to actually deduct a lot more and actually show less as an income. And one of the beauty about being an investor is you get to deduct what's called depreciation on the house. So it for a residential property is around 27 and a half years of depreciation. So let's say you have a $500,000 property, and around $270,000 is the value of the structure. If that's the case, then 27,000 divided by 27 years, around $10,000 a year you get to deduct. So now if you had this positive cash flow of say $500 a month, and you had $6,000 of positive profit, you get to deduct this fake depreciation amount, or it's not fake, it's real, because that's what you're actually doing, but you're not actually spending money for it today, of $10,000 from $6,000, it shows a $4,000 loss. Okay, so the thing is, even though you made $6,000, you paid zero taxes. As a matter of fact, you saved extra money on that $4,000 against your income, because that was a loss to you from the owning the property itself. So there are various ways people can save, and I heard someplace that 9 out of 10 millionaires happen in real estate, and that's really true. How many friends do you know who have become millionaires by owning the stock options of the companies that you work for? Okay. And if you don't know that, and then ask yourself a question: how many people currently own $1 million plus home, which they will end up paying with their mortgage in the next whatever the mortgage period is left? Right. They will be millionaires just because of that.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Amit, for coming over and sharing all your wisdom with all of us. I'm sure जितने भी हमारे listeners हैं, they are going to benefit from all the tips that you give them in this wonderful new year. मैं जल्दी से आपकी फिर से details बता दूँ. All you have to do, guys, is look out for Amit Inamdar. Just Google or Bing his name, and you'll find all the details there. Or else you can go onto his website, which is ownsweethome.net. Or if you have a pen handy, then you can just note down his number, which is 510-364-6686. हम हर फ्राइडे को between 4 and 4:30 आते हैं and रियल एस्टेट की खूब सारी बातें करते हैं. फिलहाल हमारा जाने का टाइम हो गया है, बट आप सुनते रहिए रेडियो जिंदगी, क्योंकि बहुत सारे अगले प्रोग्राम्स आने बाकी हैं. Till then, just enjoy the various shows and have a wonderful, wonderful new year. So happy new year to all listeners once again.
Own sweet home, own sweet home. I dream of my own sweet home. Right here, right now, Amit Inamdar will show you how. Call Amit and you set, or just visit ownsweethome.net.
DRE license number 01355522 and NMLS number 236574.
रेडियो सुनो, कभी कभी बच्चे